Now, apart from all these things, even skeleton can help us a lot in classification. Primitive, simple animals have no support. They do not have hard covering for protection. Such animals are called as soft-bodied animals. Example, Coelenterata, that means example Hydra. Platyhelminthes, example flatworms, that means Taenia solium or the tapeworm. Esculminthes, that means the roundworms, what are also called as nematodas. Example, the Ascaris. And even in the case of annelids, that means earthworm, example, these animals are soft-bodied animals. But yes, in other animals, they have a hard structures for support and protection, and such structures are called as skeleton. Now, skeleton can either be endoskeleton or exoskeleton, or both could be possible. So exoskeleton is made up of non-living material and is present outside the body. Example, arthropods have exoskeleton, mollusks have exoskeleton, echinoderms and vertebrates also have exoskeleton. For example, arthropods have the skeleton made up of chitin. Mollusks have the exoskeleton made up of calcium carbonate or calcium salts. Echinoderms also calcium salts. And then the vertebrates carry the exoskeleton in the form of keratin. For example, human body has hair. There are other vertebrates which may have scales on their body or feathers on their body. So these are various exoskeletons. And then endoskeleton is made up of the calcareous or siliceous spicules. Spicules are small spine-like structures, for example, found in the porifera or sponges, and they are present inside the body. For example, vertebrates also carry endoskeleton. We have bones, we have cartilage. These structures are examples of endoskeleton. So human is an example, or vertebrates are the example in which both type of skeleton is there, exo as well as endoskeleton is present. Apart from that, even when we talk about fertilization in the life cycle of organism, fertilization and development can also help us to do classification. There are animals which perform external fertilization, so male and female gametes are shed outside the body into water, and fertilization takes place outside the female body, example fishes and amphibians. Then we have the internal fertilization in which the sperms are shed by the male body into the reproductive tract of the female body, and then fertilization takes place inside the genital tract of the female, example the terrestrial animals including human. Then we have the oviparous animals, in which all those animals in which the external fertilization takes place, and many with internal fertilization like reptiles, birds, they lay eggs. So there are many animals in which you will find fertilization takes place inside, and then a calcium shell containing eggs are laid. For example, birds, for example snakes, snakes, and then we can even say reptiles. In the same manner, there are some in which fertilization takes place outside, but eggs are laid, example in the case of the amphibians, frogs. So such animals are called as oviparous. Oviparous animals may lay fertilized eggs which perform fertilization inside, or they may lay unfertilized eggs which are supposed to be fertilized outside the body. And then we have viviparous animals. These animals produce minute eggs and they develop the embryo, and this embryo gets the nutrition from the female's body and with the help of placenta, example mammals. So when they give birth, they are called as viviparous. So mammals are the example of viviparous organisms. And then there is a middle category called as ovoviviparous. Now these animals, they produce large and then heavily yolked eggs which develop in the reproductive tract of the female, but they do not derive nutrition from mother. So it is something in between, that there is no nutrition given by the mother, but the development takes place inside the mother's body. Example, we all know anaconda, we know the example of rattlesnakes, we know the example of sharks which do not lay eggs but do not provide nutrition. So the development takes place inside the body of the mother. That's why it is called as ovoviviparous. Then according to their development can be indirect or direct development. In oviparous animals, newly hatched young ones may resemble the adult. Such a development is called as direct development. So even in the case of human also, that means we are viviparous animals. In human also, the newborns are just like the parents, except the sizes are small. Such a method is called as direct development. But when we talk about the When we talk about the insects, like in the case of the butterflies, we see caterpillars there. So in some cases, the young ones hatch from the egg do not resemble their adult. So they are called as larvae, like in the case of mosquitoes also. So larva, nymph, then there will be the naiads also, and these undergo metamorphosis and then they develop into adults. Such a development is called as the indirect development. Now there is another method also possible for classification, that is according to the body temperature. Some animals are cold-blooded, which are called in biology as exothermic or poikilothermous. Their body temperature is not fixed. So if the outside temperature becomes hot, they also start turning hot inside the body. If it starts turning cold outside, it starts turning cold inside their body. So they are not able to regulate temperature. Such animals include fish, amphibians, reptiles and invertebrates. And then there are birds and mammals. These are the only classes of vertebrates which are able to maintain constant temperature despite changes outside by shivering or by sweating, etc. And such animals are called as warm-blooded animals, endothermic or homeothermic animals. So this is how classification of various animals is possible. Now the classification given in the NCERT, let me repeat from the notes also, includes that animals are classified with the help of level of organization, either as cellular, which includes only porifera, then tissue, organ or organ system. Radial symmetry will include Cnidaria and Ctenophora. Bilateral symmetry includes the all other phyla. Now bilateral symmetry may have a cavity, without a cavity flatworms, with a false cavity roundworms, and all other phyla come into the category of true cavity is present. In tomorrow's class we will start with the various phyla which come into the animal kingdom.